Joe Biden is out with his closing argument ads for the election. There's two separate ones here. I put them together. One of them is more personal. The other one is more political. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll grade how good of a job you did.
My name is Jill Biden, and I want to tell you about my husband, Joe. I first met Joe 2 years after a car accident injured his sons and killed his wife and his baby daughter. His life had been shattered. But as one of Joe's favorite quotes reminds us, faith sees best in the dark. Joe's faith helped him channel his grief into purpose. It gave him the strength to fight hard for other people's families in the Senate, and then take a 2-hour train ride home every day to be there for his own. Right now, a lot of families are hurting, and I know in my heart that if we entrust this nation to Joe, he will do for these families what he did for ours. Bring us together. Help us find light in the darkness. Keep hope for the future alive in all of us.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message. I started this campaign saying we're in the battle for the soul of the nation. I believe that even more deeply today. Who we are, what we stand for, and maybe most importantly, who we are going to be. It's all at stake. Character is on the ballot, the character of the country. And this is our opportunity to leave the dark, angry politics of the past 4 years behind us, to choose hope over fear, unity over division, science over fiction. I believe it's time to unite the country, to come together as a nation. But I can't do it without you, so I'm asking for your vote. We need to remember, this is the United States of America, and there's never been anything we've been unable to do when we've done it together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
So as usual, when it comes to Joe Biden, I have two separate commentaries, because one is not enough. First, I'll give you my commentary, then I'll give you my more objective view of the situation, not through my incredibly cynical and pessimistic eyes. So, I mean, right off the bat, when he says at the end there, we're the United States of America, there's nothing we can't do. You're the guy who says all the time we can't do Medicare for all. You say it all the time. I mean, it's insulting and it's disrespectful, and every other developed nation has one version or another of a universal healthcare system. Somehow they could figure it out and do it. We can't do it. Even though all the studies on it say with a single payer system, with a Medicare for all system, you cover everybody with healthcare, and it costs $5 trillion less over a decade. And you save for at least 45,000 lives every single year. Can't do it. There's nothing we can't do as Americans, except Medicare for all. We can't do that. Except ending the wars. We can't do that either. We have to keep some troops there. Except free college. I'm not so hot on that one. Green New Deal. Can't do that one. Sorry. I have my own Biden plan, which waters it down, and then we do that. So wait. Which is it? Which is it? There's nothing we can't do, or any bold agenda is something we can't do. It's too much. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Because, guys, the point of what he's doing is to make it a platitude. That's it. Like, the whole point is, let me give you airy rhetoric that you'll interpret however you want. Not like, I will actually do these concrete things to fix the country. So, the first one was the first ad was the personal story there. You saw it. Listen, from my perspective, even though he has a very compelling personal story, listen, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And the reason I don't want to hear it is because there is zero connection between what you went through and how you govern. There's just not. You know, the argument was, oh, faith sees best in the dark. Because Joe went through this terrible time, he fought for other families in the Senate just as hard. And that's just not true. I mean, this is the guy who did the bankruptcy bill, which made it harder for, student loans. You can't file for bankruptcy on student loans. Other forms, if you're in debt in other ways, you could file for bankruptcy, not student loans. You can thank this guy for that. You know, he was for the NSA spying. He was for the Iraq war. I mean, the list goes on and on. The crime bill. So don't give me this nonsense about he had personal tragedy, therefore he can understand if other people have tragedies and he's sympathetic. But he's not. His voting record is not sympathetic. He argued on the floor of the Senate to cut Social Security and Medicare and make a deal with Republicans. That's the opposite of sympathy for other people. So listen, again, my commentary is, God, he's so full of shit. But the other commentary I have is older voters eat this shit up. They eat it up, dog. They eat it up. They love it. They love it. It's only younger voters, just like that MSNBC town hall we saw the other day where they were ripping everybody in sight. Younger voters were like, let me see your policies and I will evaluate based on that. Older voters are like, policy? What's a policy? I've never even heard of that. Do they say flowery words and make me feel good? Is it like I'm watching a rom-com movie when they talk? Then I like them. So listen, fact of the matter is, he chipped away at older voters and suburbanite voters. So he did the thing that Hillary Clinton wanted to do, which is like, what if we expanded the Democratic coalition to not be a Democratic coalition and to make it a more moderate Republican coalition? He did that. He did that successfully. So listen, my commentary is, I don't want to hear about your personal story because it doesn't translate into you being for policies that help other people. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's a fact. But the reality is older voters see this and they think, oh my God, what a good man. He went through tragedy. And they eat up lines like faith sees best in the dark. That doesn't even mean anything. And then the second ad, even though it's more politics oriented, notice there was no solutions in there. What did he say? This is the battle for the soul of the nation. Character is on the ballot. Choose hope over fear, unity over division. Unite the country. None of that stuff means anything. It doesn't mean anything. You're just using happy words. That's it. Tell me what you're going to do. What are you going to do? And it's just like, listen, again, it's an old school kind of politics that he's still doing because in his mind, it's still 1986. So this is what you do in 1986. You know, you go out there and you make people feel good by sounding more like a freaking, motivational speaker than a serious person discussing the direction to take the country. And listen, the polls show very clearly right now that this stuff is working. So my commentary is, I hate it with every fiber of my being, and don't be surprised when he does dick to improve people's lives. But my more objective commentary is, we got to explain the polls somehow. And the reality is, he's been doing this since day one. And my best theory to explain it all is this. People really have been so burned by the Trump era. Everybody's so tired. Everybody's so beaten down. There's so much mayhem. There's so much chaos. If you spoke about this in, say, 2018 or even early 2019, people would be like, we deviated from the status quo and from politics as usual and from that which is normal because we hated the idea that what was normal was acceptable. That's why people rolled the dice on Trump. But Trump comes in and he's so bad that now everybody's like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'll take normal. Go back to normal. Now, my guess is once we get back to normal, people will be like, hey, this sucks too. It just sucks in a different way. We shouldn't do this. But as of right now, that is the pervasive sentiment in the country. The sentiment is, Jesus Christ, just let me wake up and not feel like I got to check Twitter to make sure the world didn't end last night. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reality. Going back to normal was not an appealing thought previously. Now it's an appealing thought to a lot of people. And that explains the coalition. Again, older voters and suburbanites. That's who's giving him his giant lead. A lot of people in the suburbs were like, Trump is too unhinged. That's who's giving him his lead. So, listen, they vote in higher numbers. They're more politically involved. Young people, working people, poor people, in theory, should have came out, did that big wave and got Bernie elected. But now we're stuck with the candidate who was picked solely because people assumed he's the safer choice against Trump. I'll tell you right now, if it was Bernie, I think Bernie would be up way more than Joe Biden is up. Joe Biden is up a lot. I think Bernie would be up way more. I do. So people went with what they thought was the safe option against Trump. And it just might be enough. Trump has been so bad, and we have a pandemic and an economy that's terrible. Like, he's so bad that they might just get away with not being Trump. And the terrible aspect of that is, moving forward, they're going to learn all the wrong lessons. All the lessons they're going to learn. Okay, neoliberal corporatism is awesome. The status quo is awesome. The establishment is awesome. And this is how you win, stupid lefties. Well, listen, if Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar didn't drop out at the last minute and endorse Joe Biden when Obama made a phone call, and Elizabeth Warren didn't stay in to siphon votes from Bernie won the first 3 primaries. He was going to curb stomp his way to winning in the primary. So don't give me this nonsense about like, oh, the only way to win is with centrism. No, you're just lucky that Donald Trump is Donald Trump and you're not Donald Trump. Because when I see these ads, what I see is something that my generation rolls their eyes at. Now, again, a lot of them might suck it up and make that lesser evil vote, but you talk to them and they'll tell you, oh, this is a lesser evil vote. Don't get it twisted like I like Joe Biden or something, or like I think he's going to actually do a good job. I just think he's going to do a less bad job than the asshole in there now. So there you have it. My personal commentary is I hate these ads. It's everything I hate about politics. It's BS, flowery language nonsense. But my more objective commentary is, hey, listen, it worked to this point. And because Trump is so bad, it might be enough to get him over the finish line. And it is what it is.